5 hours. That is how much time passed once for you while you were doing something you cared about. You looked up, and the light had changed completely. The room was different. You were different, though you couldn't say how. You called it a good day, the right conditions. You told yourself, I should try to recreate that. You never quite could. I want to tell you what was actually happening in those 5 hours, because it wasn't luck, and it wasn't the conditions. And once you understand what it was, you will never dismiss it as accidental again. Your brain can process 126 bits of information per second. That is the measured biological ceiling of human consciousness. Every thought, memory, feeling, and decision across your entire life must pass through this bottleneck. Understanding one person speaking costs 40 bits. 3 people simultaneously, and there is nothing left. No attention for their expressions, their meaning, or your own thoughts. Nothing. This is the scarcest resource you have. In ordinary life, they scatter. Some to the conversation from last week that still hasn't resolved, some to the meeting tomorrow. A significant portion to the inner voice that monitors your performance in real time, asking whether you are doing this right, whether you are measuring up. Self-monitoring is expensive. But in those 5 hours, the ones that disappeared, something different happened. Every available bit of attention aimed at the same point. The tributaries closed. The full river flowed in one direction. Psychologist Mihaly, Csikszentmihalyi, spent 25 years asking tens of thousands of people across every culture to describe their best moments. Chess, grandmasters, surgeons, Navajo shepherds, Japanese motorcycle gangs, blind women in Milan. I called those hours lucky for years. I didn't know what they were. What I know now is that luck had nothing to do with it. He called it flow. The flow state is universal, built into every human nervous system by evolution. The same experience, described identically across cultures, ages, and circumstances. The experience is universal. Every human being has access to it. It is not reserved for athletes or artists or exceptional people. It is the state your nervous system was built to enter. Those 5 hours were not exceptional circumstances. They were your biology working the way evolution designed it to work. And what was happening inside your brain in those hours is something nobody expected. In 2008, Johns Hopkins neuroscientist Charles Limb put jazz musicians in a brain scanner and asked them to improvise. He found something that changed how we understand human performance. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for self-monitoring, self-criticism, the inner voice of doubt, almost completely deactivated. Not quieted, not reduced. Gone. And in its absence, the musicians didn't fall apart. Their playing became more fluid, more alive, more precise than at any other time. McKinsey found productivity increases 500% in this state. The U.S. Department of Defense found learning accelerates 230 to 500%. Creativity spikes 400 to 700%. The part of the brain that doubts you is also the part that limits you. When it goes quiet, what remains is not less than you, it is more. Csikszentmihalyi spent 25 years circling what Limb's scanner finally showed. In all his interviews, the chess players, the surgeons, the Navajo shepherds, the assembly line workers in Chicago, every person described the same moment. A rock climber said it directly. You don't see yourself as separate from what you are doing. A dancer, I have more confidence in myself than any other time. A chess player, the concentration is like breathing. You never think of it. These are not descriptions of exceptional talent. They are descriptions of what happens when the self-monitoring system stops running. And this is where Csikszentmihalyi found his most important and least expected result. He called it the paradox of flow. Concern for the self disappears, yet the sense of self emerges stronger after the flow experience is over. You go in carrying everything you believe about yourself. The inner voice, the running assessment, the story of who you are and what you are capable of, and for a few hours, all of it goes quiet. And when it returns, the self that comes back is more capable, more complex, more genuinely itself than the one that went silent. Those 5 hours were not a break from your real life. They were the most honest version of it. The flow state is available to you again, not as luck, not as the right conditions, as something you now understand and can return to.